has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Hall of Fame, no opinions are the same. Lovely chocolate in the bin for the poll, who will win? Green soda wrestling, Pimple Dick ranting, air fryer, Brussels sprouts, Maxi often cheats. Hey yo, let's start the show. CWF are set to go. Many movies I won't know, such a fiasco. Max v Cy was pretty crap, probably won't go back to that. Max needs to wear a hat, and he sometimes cheats. Hogan is a liar, but Barry Windham is the
worst
thing. Hogan is a liar, hear all about it on Chain Wrestling.
Hey yo. How the hell? Oh well, mate, lots to do, mate. Lots to do. Busy man, ain't I? Busy man on the old social medias, trying to share out to the live show for everybody. Look, you know, very busy,
especially
man.
not leaving it till the last second. That's one thing I really appreciate.
Do my eyes give away that I've only just woken up in the last quarter of an hour?
You lazy bastard. There's something I actually want to touch on. I meant to ask you a few weeks ago, but I forgot.
Okay.
Can you still not hear the music for the intros?
No, not really, just bits. I can hear it. I can hear it if I play it like my end. So I've got the file, haven't I, that I sent to you. If I play it on my computer, I can hear it no problem. If I play it via a media player or whatever, I got no problem. Anything like Spotify, people send me stuff, not a problem. It's just on StreamYard. I got no idea why.
That's weird. That really is.
And it's
weird.
every video. It's every single video. It was when we used to do Hogan as a Billy Bullshitter, bits of that would be missing, but only like the certain words would come through and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, really strange, mate. Really strange.
Anyway, glad you're back.
Me. Glad you're back.
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when you said, "This is it now, folks. We will never scarve again." And
I do.
You scarved, didn't you? You were poorly.
Well, everyone got. First of all, hey yo, everyone, hello in the chat. We'll get to you shortly. Thank you, lovely stuff. Awesome, great to see you all. Everyone got ill, mate. Honestly, everyone got fucking ill. It was horrific. The wife was really poorly, really like to the point where I was like, "This is bad." I was upstairs.
To cook. How do I work the vacuum?
Ah, bollocks! I've worked the vacuum. You're kidding me? Yeah, I'm the only one who fucking uses it in my house. Bloody hell! No, I'm all right, mate. My kids are old enough to sort themselves out on that front. But yeah, my wife was so bad.
Sharon was worried about. Shit.
Well, I come down.
How is Sar going to feed himself?
She's gonna put Brussels sprouts in my air fryer again, the bastard. No, I come downstairs like 1 o'clock in the morning, and she was in a bad way to the point where I was thinking, "Oh shit, this is really. I might have to call somebody. This is bad news, you know." Liv was poorly. Put it this way, Liv didn't eat for a day. Now that's incredibly unusual, you know. Charlie was the only one who didn't get it. She was fine all week, and then.
She was the infector. That's why.
Well, I don't know, because she came home from school last night saying she was a bit jippy, and she's been off today.
Oh.
So, but my in-laws have been
reaction.
Yeah, my in-laws now have been really poorly. My son, who lives with the in-laws, is really poorly, and the baby's poorly as well. So there must be something going around, mate, all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've not to such a as a terrible degree as yours, but we've had a couple of bouts of everyone in the house getting ill, And now today we have to deal with chickenpox because one of the grandkids has got chickenpox. So that means pretty much everyone else is going to get it.
Have you had chickenpox?
Yeah, I had them as a kid. I remember going to a chickenpox party when one of the cousins got chickenpox. So that meant let's all go around and make us hug really close so we all caught it.
Oh, man, that's gross in Burnley, isn't it? You lot are weird.
Yeah. How dare you, you fucking inbred Gloucesterian, whatever they're called.
Completely irrelevant, well, apart from you bringing up Gloucester then. A very well-known music site that sells tickets and so on online misspelt Gloucester when it was talking about the lead singer of the Levellers playing our Guildhall scene. And they put a D at the end, so it says Gloucestered, which I think was actually quite more accurate to what it.
Yeah, because when you've been there, you've been Gloucestered.
Gloucestered, I took it as Gloucestered. Oh dear. Yeah, Magsy, it's been another week or so, hasn't it? And I feel guilty about that. You know.
I mean, to be fair, guys and gals, he did message me and saying, "I will try and get through it, but I may shit myself on the stream." And I'm like, "Nope, you shit yourself in the privacy of your own home." I know
there'll be some people who watch this that will probably find that very funny.
I found it hilarious. I even said to you in a message, this having diarrhea is no joke unless it's everybody else who's got it. Then it's hilarious.
Indeed. Righto then, righto. Everybody joining us in the chat, fantastic to see you all. Could you all do me a favour, please? Could you jump on your social media accounts and reshare the show? Reshare the show on Facebook via the YouTube link. Reshare the show on Twitter just by retweeting the links that we have there. It all helps. The more people watching, the better. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
On that lovely diarrhea, vomit, shitty-filled note, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live, an SJP World Media production, episode 168, because last week was actually 167, and I fucked it up and said 68 then, so we're not as far ahead as we thought we were.
168A and B.
Yeah, there we go. That works. I am Si, and with me, as always, is the Jericho, to my cheap hoe. The RVD to my itchy pee-pee because of the cheap hoe. Hey, links back there. It works, doesn't it? Hey, it works.
It's one of your better ones, which is not saying much.
Hey, 168 times I've done this, mate. It's fucking hard work at times. A podcaster who only has one G in his name. One. And I made that mistake at, 160 shows in to our run.
Yeah.
Lord Mags. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Luckily, I haven't had no diarrhea episodes, so everything's been fan-dabby-dozy on this end, apart from the horrific weather where we get one glorious day of sun and then 18 days in a row of absolute pissing down. I was meant to have planted my spring vegetables by now, but I can't, because it's absolutely sodden everywhere. So
what will be spring vegetables then? What will be spring vegetables?
So like lettuces, onions, first early potatoes, herbs, things like that. But I can't do it yet.
When you started with lettuces, I was thinking, well, fuck it off, innit? But no, we like onions and we like potatoes.
Carrots, some early carrots can go in. Well, if it gives me a couple of days of dryness, I can get them planted. But yeah, it's been horrific, absolutely horrific.
Aren't the servants out there with the old rollers and stuff pushing all the water
I've had to lay them off. It's just so I'm having to do things myself. I've had to learn how to flush a toilet myself, work a vacuum. Wipe
your own arse.
Well, no, try and play a while.
Now, this last time we were on the show, and I was completely wrong. But on this occasion, is it a new hat?
No, it's one I've worn for quite a while. I haven't worn for quite a while,
it?
But it's not new. There's even some marks. I've lost a massive stack of hats.
Have you?
Yeah, with moving things around to like renovate the house. I've lost a big old stack of them, and I couldn't find them today.
Have you lost them, or has the wife tidied them away, which means they've gone in the
It's
bin?
probably no. She definitely won't have binned them, but it is
Right,
probably
okay.
that she's put them away to tidy them up and then forgotten where they are.
Okay, because I imagine there are times when the wife moves things around here, and we spoke about it a while back, didn't we? One of my video players went missing.
I mean, to be fair,
Yes.
Sharon probably does it just to make you go absolutely crazy.
Well, potentially. I lost the Quantum Leap DVDs the other week. I couldn't find them.
No big loss. You don't
You
get home.
fucking prick. He don't get home. Well, spoiler alert for everyone who's not got to end of it yet. We've got 2 seasons left on the waiting room, you bastard. Might as well not bother now, Benny. Knock it on the head, eh?
Nope. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Mr. Benny Mac, I wonder if he has joined us this evening. Maybe not. Should we dive in the chat and see who's there, Max?
We shall. Well, we've got a comment that came in last week, basically as we were going to go live, and it says, it's good cop, bad cop. So I'm assuming Graham, he says, nearly late as I logged into Netflix first to watch this instead of on YouTube. Well, we may be on Netflix soon. Fingers crossed, a deal might be in the pipeline. But today's actual comment starts with Pigs Bladders, who has graciously provided us with some absolutely amazing and on Twitter some absolutely terrifying artwork. Jesus Christ, that sexy dancing video was grim. He says, evening fellas.
Nobody, hang on. No, hang on. Nobody used the word sexy apart from you here. Where's that come from?
I mean, it's meant to be sexy dancing, but it's also kind of burns into your brain. It's things that you could never unsee. And then we've got the first lady of the SJP World Media Network saying it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Graham, with his second comment at 8:01, that's at a week difference. He says, watching Brighton, Brentford, and list running to us guys, apparently. And then he corrects the wrong part. Well, not the wrong part. He corrects a part saying Brighton, Bournemouth even. Badly played video games, says with a tear in my eye. Yeah, and you get to watch this sharp. Pigs Bladder saying hello to Sharon, and then Graham saying, not listen to you guys at times one in forever. I thought there was a problem with YouTube for a minute. Sharon says, hi, King Pig Bladders, hello, CWF. Matt Lewis, how are you, sir? He says, thank you, sir, for your very kind words about Good Cop, Bad Cop this week. It means the world to me and Graham. Weird that Graham didn't say thank you. Quite ignorant. But we'll get to Graham later on in the show. He may have a little rant dedicated to him when we get to the non-wrestling topic. Badly Played Girl says, King Pig Bladders loves you, sir. We all love King Pig Bladders, and it's amazing to have him part of the CWF. And he says, hi, mate, how's it going? Good, thanks. I mean, chin wag on your own time, folks. We don't need we don't need to know your life stories, saying good thanks halfway through a bottle of wine. That's issues there, maybe. Then King Pig's Ladder, in comment to the video I was talking about, why aren't you two dancing? You were earlier. Yeah, I want to try and forget it. It was the most terrifying thing that I have ever seen, especially when the arse shaking started.
Oh, dear me. Oh, go to @chain_wrestling on Twitter if you want to see the glorious work of Pig's Bladders with his photoshops and videos. They're amusing and frightening.
And be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah. That's a good shape, Mags, yeah.
Badly Played Video Game says, whereas Sar looks like he has not missed a meal. A little bit rude there.
What the hell?
Sar is just a husky lover.
Oh no, he must be. I think he's referring to the video where I'm in a very tight red outfit. Have you seen that one?
Is that another King Pig's Ladders one?
Yeah.
No, I threw up after the first one. I couldn't stomach a second one. I'll go back to it later on though. Graham says hashtag drunk the pebble. And Sharon says, and now she's poorly again. Oh, poor Sharon is going through the wars. Matt says, thank you to me. I mean, I didn't say anything. In fact, I've probably said something actually disparaging without even realizing it. But he says, thanks to me for being an amazing supporter. You are more than welcome. King Pig Bladder says, Do they ram? I think that's ram with cricket faster.
No, not Ticketmaster. No. It wasn't one of the big ones. It's like a lower down one that sort of works with Gloucester Guildhall. But yeah, the fact that they couldn't even spell Gloucester and put turd makes it even worse.
Was it like C tickets?
I can't remember the name of it now, Max, and I'm not going to go back on and find it now.
Graham says you can't polish a shit, but you can gloss turds.
Nice.
Why would you want to though? Choppy pee pee says badly played video games. And Connor says, hi guys, just got off work, about to eat a late lunch or first dinner. Well, thank you for sharing your late lunch or first dinner with us. First dinner, that's American, isn't it? First dinner, like you have a second dinner.
Is that like because Americans are so normally vast, aren't they? Let's be honest, and they love their food, or are you saying because Connor's not, is he? Let's be honest. Connor's about as well built as my little finger. He's a very slight gentleman, isn't he?
5-stone piss wet through.
Yeah. So when you say late lunch, first dinner, what do you have? Do you have like breakfast, lunch, and tea in America, or do you have dinner? What do you have? What do you call the meals?
Here in the God's country, it's breakfast, dinner, and tea.
That's what I reckon. Yeah. But sometimes I'll call dinner lunch, depending on what I'm doing. Right?
But in no stretch of imagination have I said breakfast, dinner, first tea, second tea.
Nah. No, that's very American, isn't it?
It is.
The whole time with McDonald's milkshake on a drip straight into your arm.
I mean that's laugh goals. If you could, that's a way I would happily die with that. Banana milkshake fed into my veins. Graham says, any fennel planting, Mags? Do you know, I would actually plant fennel, but nobody else in the house would use it, so there'd be no point. I did plant leeks, which nobody likes, but I've made a lot of use of them. And kale, if you want to grow a plant that will never fail, kale is the one. It was still giving good quality kale leaves when it was snowing in the middle of winter. The plant I planted last year is still alive now and providing leaves to feed the chicken and ducks with. It's absolutely amazing. So plant kale.
What is that? What is fennel and kale? What is that?
So fennel is kind of like I think it's a member of the onion family. And it's like a big lumpy bulb, and you slice it, and it's aniseedy flavored. So you've got to be like really careful, not like biting an aniseed bulb, but it's got a hint of aniseed in it.
So it's like licorice lettuce. What the fuck is that all about?
It doesn't. It's the hint. It's the sense of aniseed, and then kale is kind of like a cabbage, like a brassica.
Okay, I look at yeah.
It's like it's called a superfood. People put it in smoothies to make them green, and I've never really got along with that. I just prefer it wilted and eat it as it is. But yeah,
I just like bacon.
You don't really plant bacon though. I mean, that'd be an amazing invention if you could plant a bacon tree.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Connor says, you'll never believe this. I met a nice old British couple who moved here last year, bought a house on the beach, and the husband was from Burnley, good man, and the wife was from Gloucester. So he punched down, didn't he?
You're right. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I definitely don't believe it. I think he's winding us up. You're just lying, Connor, bullshitter. Pig Bladder says, put away for safekeeping. Graham says, that's amazing, Connor, lol. Yeah, I think he might be fibbing or embellishing the truth. Dan Griffin, hello, sir. How are you? He says, I'll be lurking as I've got to watch some 2002 wrestling for a podcast that will be dropping soon with a Bang Bang. Yes, and you were a guest recently on Bang Bang, weren't you, sir?
As were you, my friend. As were you. You were number 200, weren't you? Yeah.
I was the last go-to.
Well, this is it. Yeah, you're the fluffer ready for me to come on, weren't you?
I mean, it's not the first time.
Speaking of which, you and Andy said a few things about How my accent makes Andy feel intelligent. You say that that's no surprise, because my lack of intelligence means I could lose a competition to myself in an empty room. Yeah, that was all within 10 minutes of the show started, you pair of bastards.
I can't remember what was said. It was so long ago. Yeah, and anything I say on a podcast should never be taken literally.
Okay. Brilliant, because we're about to go and do another hour and a half of this, but yeah, okay.
Well, exactly. So ignore anything that happens in the next hour and a half, folks. I will get us cancelled and then we'll all be forgotten by the end of it. Graham says, I agree, Matt. Thank you, Sam. Much appreciated. Oh, look at that. It means nothing now, Graham. Do you know if you have to be prompted to say thank you, it's not from there. It's not from the heart. So, no, it doesn't accept it. Graham then says, you're not going to comment on Drunk Matt putting whole-way instead of halfway. Chat favoritism.
Missed that, didn't we? Must have missed that.
I mean, there's so many comments. I mean, we've still got some to go. So I can't pick out every single mistake, Graham. As much as I want to, I've got to let some mistakes fly. Badly Played Game says the pebble isn't going to catch on. Graham then says it will in your local indie. Oh, and here he goes. Russell Young Association, care of Callum Cruz. What a rookie mistake there, Graham. Pig Bladder says first dinner of the week. Yeah, so you have 7 of a week, whereas Connor probably has 14, maybe 15, 3 on a Sunday. Matt says, by the way, I'm chatting on both platforms to increase the algorithm. See, legend.
Commitment.
Be like
commitment to the cause. Mm.
Dan says, fennel and kale are vegetables, sir. That's why you don't know him.
It sounds like a comedy duo from the 80s, doesn't it?
Yeah, like Cannon and Ball.
Yeah,
Roger and Freddy, fennel and kale. Pig Bladder says they're super queens. They are, absolutely. And Graham says, where are 5 nerds go when you need fennel explaining? Yeah, that was a whole thing with 5 nerds Pete and his search for a fennel. And Matt says fennel is actually part of the carrot family. Well, yeah, that makes sense because of the little feathery tips which you use as a garnish. Size like, what am I on the right podcast?
What are we doing?
Andy says I'm preparing for that podcast, Dan. He's on about by having a lovely bath. Well, fun fact in ours, we had a dog running and the dog went absolutely mental and shit Andy right up. He actually nearly did shit his pants. Graham says size, popcorn and first or second dinner.
See, a lot depends on those sort of things as to your location and where you are and what you're doing. That influences a great deal.
Yeah. Matt says kale is technically white cabbage, even though it's green and not white. Pig Bladder says hello, Andy. Andy waves at everybody, and then Pig Bladder says, I enjoy both Bang Bang episodes of yours equally. Well, I didn't. Do you know why? Because I enjoyed mine because I heard it in real time. I didn't enjoy Sars at all because I've not heard a single second of it. But I am definitely going to listen to it tomorrow to see if he slagged me off like I praised him to the hilt.
I can. Andy's in the chat. We can say, "Do you praise me to the hilt, you lying shite?"
If you listened right to the very end, I did actually praise you.
Yeah, I did listen.
I think he'd finished recording, but I did actually praise you a little bit. Yeah. Matt says, I can't remember. Thankfully, there was audio proof. Connor says, I've just got off work, haven't eaten anything, and eating a late lunch, hence why I joked and said first dinner. No, it still beggars why you have first and second dinner. And the last one for now, Kale and Pace are the comedy veg crossover. Do you remember when Kale and Pace, you nearly got me taking that as the proper name. Do you remember when Hale and Pace microwaved a cat?
No, not for real.
No, it was a skit on the show, but yeah, they got a lot of backlash for that. Anyway, I don't even know why that went into my brain, but anyway, that's the chat all caught up for now.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you all for joining. Maxie, we're 25 minutes into the show, and we have done fuck all.
These are the best kind of shows. So if we sign off now, we've give nearly half an hour of content for literally absolutely nothing. So everybody wins.
I look at it as half hour of your time, half hour of my time. That's a full hour of content.
Yeah, wasted.
Wasted indeed. So we don't really know what we're going to do this week, do we? Because I messaged you to say, what have you got planned for tonight? And you said, I can't remember right now. And that was the end of our messaging conversation. So,
I mean, I don't know why you threw that. I couldn't understand why you'd asked me. What do you mean? What did I have planned?
well, I don't know.
We've done this quite a few times. I don't know if you remember, but we kind of have a vague run list of what happens.
Yes, this is true.
Did you have amnesia?
Well, I was asking more to the point that before we dive into non-wrestling topic and our wrestling topic and the road stories and so on, did you have anything else to add? For example, a Hall of Fame, Hall of Lame, or anything like that?
But you
Or shall
didn't
we have a
say
little?
that, did you? You didn't say
Or
that.
shall we have
You didn't say any of
shall we have
that.
a little? No, I didn't say any of that. But if not, I've got a couple of things that I've read in the news recently that could be quite a bit of a giggle to pick holes in, my friend.
Well, I did have some stuff for the original recording, but as the world of wrestling moves on, news becomes old hat very quickly. But I do have a little something.
Pimple alert!
Oh, a teeny weeny.
So,
Okay, interesting.
everybody who has ever listened to me talk, listen to me, chatting away, or watch me on a wrestling podcast will know that I have no issue in dishing out grief to AEW, and I'm certainly not a massive fan of Charles Montgomery Punk. But today's Pimple Dick is someone who has got a massive vengeance against those two entities, and it's Ryan Nemeth.
I was nearly going to bring this up myself. This is,
Has there anybody in the world of wrestling ever made themselves look like a pillock more than this guy did on Valentine's Day?
Oh, it's so funny.
He filed a lawsuit about being blackballed from the wrestling business, from having irreparable damage done to his reputation because of AEW and CM Punk. I have read his lawsuit, and I think a child wrote it, because it's essentially one long sentence with lots of grammatical errors. Quite a number of dates are wrong. Quite a number of incidents didn't happen the way that he put them. And he's got a massive main character syndrome. He believes that he is the main character in this story. And he also is the ultimate victim, because he has been wronged on levels that no person has ever been wronged on. So essentially, this is all to do with the issues between Punk and AEW on the ending of the time that Punk was there. So from the lawsuit, I'll just go into a little bit of the detail. It says Ryan Nemeth. Now, bear in mind, he's wrote this in the third person, because no lawyer worth their salt has wrote this. So he's put Ryan Nemeth is the fourth wording: successful actor, comedian, and stuntman. Nemeth also followed his older brother's Nick's career and has established himself as a star performer on the professional wrestling circuit. Nemeth was under contract with AEW. AEW is owned by Shard and Tony Khan. Shard is also the owner of the NFL franchise, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And when his son managed to alienate almost everyone within the Jaguars organization, including star NFL players, Tony was moved to a leadership role in the Khan family-owned Fulham club. Tony ended up mismanaging Fulham, leading to multiple lawsuits against the club. Since he was a child, Tony has loved professional wrestling and has had an obsession with certain wrestlers. The Khan family formed AEW to provide Tony with something to do safely away from the family's other ventures. Tony serves as the AEW's chief executive officer. So that part there, that's written by a petty, petulant child. Tony Khan is still highly involved with the Jaguars, and much to Fulham fans' chagrin, he's still very much involved with Fulham. He owns part of them, not just his dad. He actually owns part of them, and AEW is not just something to send him away on the corner to keep him out of the way. As much as I'm happy that Tony Khan is getting the shit that he deserves, not when it's based on bollocks like this. So then we get on to his to CM Punk. He says Phil Brooks was another wrestler under contract with AEW and a member of the AEW management team. Tony had a deep fascination with Brooks, and Brooks undertook a campaign to terrorize and intimidate Plaintiff, aka himself, including physical assault. Now, Punk did have quite a number of physical encounters in AEW. I mean, most notably the Bucks and Kenny, and then Jack Perry. Nobody's ever mentioned that Ryan Nemeth and him got into fisticuffs. So I'm guessing that didn't happen. Anyway, so it goes to AEW turned a blind eye to Brooks' conduct because of Tony's deep admiration for Brooks, and he repeats this over and over how much Tony is obsessed with CM Punk, which we know that he was a massive fan, but he wasn't obsessed to the point that Ryan Nemeth makes out in this. So let's get to some of the points he covered. Point 16. He says, rather than remove Brooks from the AEW roster of wrestlers, Tony Khan made the decision to suspend Brooks for a few months. Brooks is one of AEW's most popular wrestlers, and Khan did not feel that Brooks could be removed without a substantial loss of profit, which sounds absolutely fine. Further, Khan has a deep personal affinity for Brooks, and Khan made the conscious decision to keep Brooks as part of AEW, even though he knows that Brooks is prone to lashing out in violent episodes to injure others. Then he basically has multiple bullet points of issues that he had with AEW and CM Punk, where he says he was made to be a scapegoat. Doesn't mention the fact that his involvement in this was started by him because he tweeted, "This is the softest guy in the history of professional wrestling." Although he does try to say that those comments were done in character. But he had no reason to jump into this because he wasn't in a storyline with Punk. There was no hint of a storyline on the horizon. So to say he was in character doing this, and he says at one point that he, as a heel, he was obliged to comment on this. No, you fucking weren't. You tried to insert yourself into a situation that had fuck all to do with you, you pillock. But the icing on the cake is when he says that this has caused him irreparable damage and that he's blackballed from the wrestling business. He works for TNA. He's literally now in a storyline with his brother and the TNA world champion Joe Hendry, and he has been blackballed, has he? What a knob. So this week's Pimple Dick is Ryan I'm a knobhead Nemeth.
A couple of quick things I want to chuck in there as well that make it even more laughable, Magsy. These tweets that he put out saying about Punk being a bit, thin-skinned or whatever it was. Punk being Punk, he doesn't tolerate much bullshit, does he? Much to perhaps his lack of professionalism, but at the same time, in some circles, you've got to respect the fact he fronts people out. Mm-hmm. Punk went straight up to the guy and said, "Have we got a fucking problem?"
And that's in the law. Pants.
Yeah, he shit himself and ran away. But that is apparently in the lawsuit. That's apparently in some comments from basically saying Punk got aggressive in my face and all this sort of stuff. You're like, you asked for that.
De-escalate the situation.
Yeah, but you asked for that by putting what you did on. If you don't want to be called out for your bullshit, don't put stuff on Twitter. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the one that made me laugh as well, somebody, I wish I could remember the guy's name. And if you're listening to this, which is very unlikely, but if you're listening to this, I apologise in advance for not having your name or Twitter handle in front of me. It said that it's blackballed him from wrestling, and it meant that he couldn't work for AEW anymore. It's effectively ended his AEW career. The big joke for me there is what AEW career? He'd been there 3 years. Um, done nothing, but this is the problem. This is the reason, is it? But he'd had several matches on Collision, a couple of matches on Dynamite, and I think he'd wrestled for Ring of Honor as well at some stage when it was first acquired.
It all also had wrestled matches after this issue had happened. So it can't have blackballed him that much.
Mob.
Yeah.
What a knobhead. Ah, dear me. Dear me. Maxie, do you want to look at some other bits and bobs from around the world that involve knobheads from other countries?
I mean, have I got a choice? I think it's going to happen
Not really.
anyway.
Not really. A couple of little stories that have jumped out to me in the last sort of week or fortnight or so that make me laugh about how stupid people are, or how stupid people are when others try to expose their stupidity. News stories that maybe are new or a couple of weeks old. First of all, there's a lady in North London has been arrested, Max, for impersonating others whilst trying to falsify documents and help individuals pose to get them a UK citizenship test.
Okay.
This 61-year-old lady has been sitting the exam that people coming in to get the UK citizenship. She's been sitting the exam for other people. So falsifying documents, putting the fake names, passing the exam for them, so these other people get it. Now that is terrible. That is awful. But what really upsets me and makes me think how daft is the UK immigrant system, or for want of a better phrase. She has done this at least 14 times in the same
no one's
office.
ever clocked on when
in the same
she was
office,
called
right?
Mohammed.
But she did this for men and women. And when police arrested her and went and looked in her house, they found an array of 20 different wigs. And that's how she was doing it. She was just changing her hair, taking the test for other people.
Did they also find a big nose and pair of glasses and a mustache?
Fake mustaches, yeah. But that's wonderful. I mean, it's not, but it's yeah.
She should not get into trouble for that, because that is amazing effort to go to fudge some citizenship test. That's brilliant.
14 times.
How
glorious, isn't it?
How
what great
did
work.
nobody clock? I've just seen her, but she didn't have a big rainbow wig on. Well, it must be a different person.
I hope that she did like 5 a day or something, and we'll just nip into the toilet, change
this
her
all
top
happened over one afternoon.
One test sitting, and there was just a lot of empty chairs, and she'd just nip off and come back with a different wig on and fill out the paperwork.
These test entrants have been to the toilet for an awful long time.
Well, their handwriting's all very similar. Oh dear. However, that's the UK getting things wrong, Magsy, isn't it? That's not a good look for us. How about this for the Germans getting things right? Vending machines in Germany are now a booming business because they include sausages. Some of these machines on the street sell 3 to 4 varieties of sausages, along with punnets of potato salad. Hungry Germans craving a sausage in the dead of the night, are obviously nighttime, because in the day you get sausages from a shop, are increasingly turning to vending machines for their bratwurst, brockwurst, and barbecue meats. The machines are booming outside German cities where shops are less likely to stay open. Especially in structurally weak or rural areas, vending machines are a solution becoming increasingly popular, says Heike Richter, an industry spokesperson. There is a strong development towards the vending machine, which is used now to deliver meat, milk, eggs, and other products, including multiple sausages. That blows my fucking mind.
So I've been to Amsterdam a few times, and Amsterdam have already beaten Germany to the punch with this, because there's multiple stores where you can literally go to a vending machine and get a burger or some fries
Oh dear.
or a hot dog from the vending machine. So yeah, Germany
How
have
long has it
been
been sat
beaten.
there?
No, they cook fresh. The vending machines are connected to our building where they cook fresh and then put into the vending machine, and you pay for whichever one you want, and you open the door and get your burger.
Yeah,
or
but
your sausages.
these are in the middle of the night, not connected to a building. They're just a vending machine with packaged sausages in them.
I mean, it's why would you want raw sausages in the middle of the night?
I don't know. I think they might be ready to eat, but I don't know. I don't know. And now I think about it, initially I thought that's a good idea, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean
Having just had the shits.
the local farm where I bought my chickens from, they have a vending machine where you can get bottles of milk and butter and kind of all kind of farm products, cheese, things like that, directly from the vending machine.
Okay. But I imagine that's topped up and looked at daily, isn't it?
Yeah, but
My
you can
issue is the
go, you could
time
go
the
in the
meat is
middle of
in
the night and it's still there.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Fair enough. As always, is sort of the way whenever we laugh at certain things in this show. When we want to get to the most ridiculous and potentially most humorous, we head to Wales. And
Shock.
the headline reads, and this is the national press, by the way, Magsy, just so you're aware. Welsh woman pleads guilty to sending fart videos to her boyfriend's ex. Rhiannon Evans admitted sending at least 8 videos to Deborah Pyfirch, where she pressed gas directly into the lens. A woman in Wales has pleaded guilty to wreaking havoc on her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend by repeatedly sending her cyber farts, according to the UK media. Rhiannon Evans, 25, was recently fined and given a restraining order after she admitted harassing her boyfriend's ex by sending her a series of farting videos. Evans has sent at least 8 videos to Deborah, again, I can't read that, it's Welsh, where she can be seen laughing while placing a camera on her bottom and then pressing gas directly into the lens. It was purely malicious. She was smirking throughout, found it hilarious, but the victim didn't, prosecutor Diane Williams reportedly told the court.
Imagine
With
going
the-
to the police with that.
Williams said that when Evans was arrested at her home, she admitted to sending the videos and claimed it was because she felt her partner was being unfairly treated. This is to do with her boyfriend's child contact with a child that he has with his ex. Sorry. At the time she sent these videos, she had some drinks, and she sent them understanding now this has caused the victim some distress. She sent them, this is the best part, without malicious intent. How do you send a fart
Bollocks.
video?
Absolute bollocks. It was incredibly malicious.
Oh dear.
But how do you go to the police and say, I'm really need somebody to talk to this woman, she's sending me farts?
Farts!
I mean, that'd be somebody's kink. She could have made money on that. Get an OnlyFarts account.
Oh dear. Finally, from that story, yeah, she sent them without malicious intent. Her defending attorney said the victim stated that it's terrible, that she would like to go forward in her life feeling safe in her own home.
How are you not? How are you not? Every time your kid farts, are you going into like cold sweats?
She's getting PTSD from the video.
Bloody fart. Kingpin
she
Gladys.
got.
At least she couldn't smell them too. Brilliant.
This is it. She was fined £373, including £124 compensation to the victim. So she got 124 quid for that's the going rate, Magsy. 124 quid per 8 farts.
So that's 30 quid a video.
Mm. Yeah. But there you go. A few of those tickled me, mate. A few of those made me laugh. So I thought I'd share them with the group.
What a thing to be arrested over. You farted online. Amazing. I mean, you'd be fucked for like 160 of these shows because I'm sure you've done silent but violence on every single one.
Oh, most likely. Oh, dear me. Magsy, shall we have a quick scan through the chat and then get on with our non-wrestling topic?
We shall. Let's go back up. So let's go to here. Matt says, I see I'm chopped liver again regarding guest appearances. Lol, still no more team bat. I mean, we don't control other podcasts. We just do what we are told or we are asked to do. If people start booking Matt, because otherwise we get it in the neck.
To be fair, I don't do many guest spots on shows. I don't do that. So it's only for a very select few. It's not like you and me are out and about all the time, Max, is it? So
I mean, I used to be a whore. I might as well.
What about the podcasting though?
Yeah, I had the podcast equivalent of TDs. I would go on anyone's podcast, and I'd go on dry. But yeah, now I am very, very selective. I mean, for context, Sal was meant to be on episode 200 of Bang Bang, and I told Andy that I wouldn't do episode 201. It had to be 200 or nothing. So Sal got bumped because I was such a mardas. I was a diva.
He big timed it.
I did. Can you imagine to go on Bang Bang podcast and no disrespect that, but
I'm not following him.
Big time going on Bang Bang podcast. Graham says microwaving a cat for real. Well, no one has ever been on TV for a while. Yeah, can you imagine if they actually did microwave a cat? That one episode and done. Matt says 25 minutes into the show, having done nothing, took an hour to get to Good Cop Bad Cop on Good Cop Bad Cop Wrestling this week. Shameless plug. Badly played video games. Graham, you can't fit a cat in a microwave. Well, they could because it was a kitten, and that was the whole point. It was such a cute little kitten, and then they had a microwave, and they went to put it in the microwave and said, "We wouldn't microwave a cat on live TV." And then you went, so here's what we did earlier. Opened the microwave and pulled out a fake microwave cat.
I'm not having that either. You can't fit a cat in a microwave. I reckon you can. When I look at our microwave, I reckon I could fit 2 or 3 cats in there.
I mean, that might be a stretch, but...
As a size, obviously, the practicality of it, they'd be fighting and they'd be scratching me and make it very difficult.
Spin, obviously.
No, but sometimes your food don't spin, does it? It's just, if you've got too much in there or whatever.
I don't know. I've never got to the point where I've overloaded a microwave to the point where the plate wouldn't spin.
Well, no, our microwave, we've got a new one now, thankfully, because our microwave broke the other week. It's another. Do you remember that list of stuff I told you that went wrong in my house all in the space of a week?
TV.
Yeah, there's loads of it, weren't there? After I sent you that, the following day, the microwave went bang. So we got a new microwave.
Your electrics may be dodgy.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. They do. To be honest, the housing association do keep ringing me and saying it's time for a checkup. They need to come out and look at the house. I've been putting it off for quite a few months now. Perhaps I should just let them in.
Yeah, man, you would have to take off the device that circumvents your electricity meter, so you'll have to start paying your electricity bill. That's the problem. That's the problem. Graham says you can put a cat if you put a cat in a blender first, you can fit it in a microwave. See, you think I'm dark? Graham is way worse than me. Badly played video games says put some respect on CM Punk's name, bitch. Do you know I will respect CM Punk when he tells me why he blocked me for absolutely no reason. No reason whatsoever. So I won't play it. No, he hasn't. I don't go on Twitter to find out, but I don't think he's.
I ask him to unblock you. Shall I tweet him?
I genuinely couldn't give a fuck. I don't care or for CM Punk enough to bother. King Big Ladders says 8 matches, no wins. Stuntman, actor, stand-up comedian. I mean, he's literally doing his brother's career in kind of like Wish version, isn't he? Like Timu. He's the Timu Nick Nemeth.
Yes, he is. Just, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. King Pig's Brother says Punk shouted at him and then says it's the best lawsuit he ever read. It reads
It's
like
so
an absolute
stupid.
child. It reads like an absolute child. Matt says, I partially agree with that sentiment, to be fair. He owns terrible performing sports franchises. I mean, that is also...
Oh, and there's the Monday cough.
It's because I've talked for 50 minutes non-stop. I'm
Wow.
shocked. Pig Bladder says, Nemeth's a jobber. CM Punk was TK's big star. He was always going to take Punk's side. Yeah. Exactly.
It's business.
Then he says, 1 loss. No, 8 losses. And is this about bananas on a plate?
No. I'll find out more information about that for next time if I can. I'll try and get an update.
And then he says he wants to try the pizza vending machine. And then he also, Kingpin also says, have you seen the one where you can place an order on an app, then wait at the vending machine whilst a drone swoops in and delivers it to the top of the vending machine and then to you? What the fuck? That's so lazy. That is so lazy.
Yeah.
Graham says the farting woman should get a gas bore.
Hey.
And Kingpin says at least you couldn't smell them too. And then when he found out that it's 30 quid a fart, it's ka-ching. I think we now know where Kingpin is going now. He's going to be making an Only Farts account. Graham says Matt just announced on Good Cop, Bad Cop he's got another podcast coming so soon. When would he ever have a time to appear on someone else's podcast? Exactly. Then Matt, trying to butter me up, says, to be fair, you are indeed selective, but you're welcome back on Good Cop, Bad Cop anytime. Notice you've not got an invite for that, sir. Just me there.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. No worries. I know how
you're not making a big deal of it, are you, like Matt?
No, I'm cool.
Yeah, exactly. Sharon says she bets that you could fit Coco. And I think she says this with malice. Reading this now, this sounds like you might have to worry about Coco the cat because she bets she could fit Coco in the microwave.
She's a prick.
Try it, Sharon. Try it.
Not Sharon. The cat is a prick. Coco is she's an asshole.
So you weren't calling Sharon a prick?
No. The cat's a prick. The cat's an asshole. She's a bully to
cats. Cats are assholes. Cats in general are assholes. I hate our cat. Matt says if the cat don't want to go, it won't go. Yeah, but if you hold it in with one hand and then wedge the microwave door shut, it's not got much choice.
If you get it around the throat, right? No, hear me out. If you get it around the throat,
hear me out. As this is a well thought out plan.
But from the back, don't the mistake people make is when they grab a cat by the throat from the front. Right? If you get from the back and your hands should be strong enough to reach around and squeeze the front of it, the sharp pointy bits are facing away from you. You can grab its arse and force it in the microwave. Then you can bend it, double it up, and in it goes.
Oh, wait till it's sleeping and bag it up.
Yeah. Well, because they wake up, don't they?
Yeah, but this is wake up and
not that I do that.
Them, oh, how are you doing, cat? You're doing really nice. And yeah, exactly. Matt says, said podcast is coming to SJP World Media.
It is. It is. Well, it's not a shameless plug because you haven't told anyone exactly what it is. So it's just nothing at the moment because no one knows what it is. And I'm not going to spill the beans. That's not my place.
Yeah, that's a you thing, Matt. Badly played video game says probably the same reason why Stone Cold blocked you, Mags. Yeah, I mean that we were talking about pegging at the time, and I don't think Stone Cold was a massive fan of pegging. I don't even know who actually tagged Stone Cold in it. I don't think it was me, but he ended up getting tagged in a whole conversation, and he just blocked everyone. And I really like Stone Cold. I am actually a massive Stone Cold fan. But I did probably
like that one, aren't you?
Yeah, I did deserve that one. He also says a pizza vending machine, isn't that just a Pizza Hut buffet? I mean, either way, you're getting lots and lots of delicious pizza. Sharon says she doesn't get any podcast invites. I mean, you have been on several podcasts that I know of. I've been involved in some when you and your husband cheated at quizzes.
Goff cheated. If we'd have cheated, we'd have won, you bellend.
El Ladder. That's all I have to say. Badly Played Video Game says, Sharon, we still need to do our chat. Graham says, Matt, do a double booking, Cy and Sharon. Yeah, the Powells.
Interesting. I think she's trying to branch out on her own after my comments there.
She doesn't want anything to do with. She's like you were like a millstone around the neck.
That's it. After my comments about putting cats in microwaves and the way to do it, she probably wants to separate herself from me.
Badly Played Video Games, hear me out, and then the lawyers sit up. Yeah, exactly. This is how.
For clarification,
microwave
that's
a cat.
all said in jest, of course.
Graham says, how has this gone to a podcast about getting a cat into a microwave from a skit from two people who are not relevant in today's world at all, and it was about a 2-minute skit on one of their many episodes, and we're now bringing that back up and making a full podcast about it. Ridiculous. But anyway, Graham says, put some treats in the back corner of the microwave because the cats are generally known for getting into microwaves not knowing that they are going to be cooked alive.
Lemmy, the ginger cat, doesn't get in the microwave, but he used to get in places like he used to climb into the fridge. Then you shut the door, not realise the cat was in there,
and then it'd be frozen.
Well, no, it's only chilled, isn't
it? It'd be chilled like that. Oh.
Yeah.
Matt says, to be fair, it was announced on Good Cop, Bad Cop by his cousin. Graham is who tagged him. Yes, you did, Graham, you animal. Says he tagged Stone Cold about something genuine. Then you started talking about pegging, and that's why you were we weren't the only people, though, talking about pegging. There was quite a few others who didn't get blocked, which is out of order. And Sharon says she went on their show because Morty and Fitch love her. I mean, they're just like anyone who answers the messages and comes on the show. If you're willing to turn up, you're the best friend. Then the last one for now. Whoops! Everyone ignore the picture in the group chat. Then, whoops! Has she done a picture of a cat going in a microwave?
Yeah. Like there's scratches on her arms, pinned up, with the old round the throat from the back technique, as I mentioned. No, it's a picture showing how small the cat is because she's an adult cat, but she's very, very small.
Like a midget cat.
Yeah.
A dwarf cat.
Yeah, she's the one who collects mouse arses, if you remember me saying.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nutter. Magsy, shall we dive in to our non-wrestling topic now and get away from murdering cats and pegging?
Yes, please, let's.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Non-wrestling topic time.
Good God Almighty, there will be no wrestling talk here. Business is about to pick up on chain wrestling. Side Lord Mags, please cut it out.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Brilliant.
Hungry chicken. Listen this, mate. Listen this. Lemon sherbet lip balm. It's fucking banging, mate.
Wow.
It's good shit.
First of all, a grown-ass adult with lip balm. And then trying to show it off on a wrestling podcast. This is not your target audience.
No. Well, it's that time of year, though, isn't it? When your lips get a bit dry and a bit chapped and can be a bit sore. So,
I have just got standard original lip balm.
See this cake. Sharon, tell us in the chat what they were, because there was a group of them, weren't there? There was the lemon sherbet one. Do you remember the old Wham? Not the band. It wasn't like it wasn't a lip balm endorsed by George Michael.
George Michael.
Yeah.
Andrew Ridley is making bank now.
Yeah. No, it's the old Wham chocolate bars. Do you remember those?
There was no chocolate in them whatsoever, but I do remember them.
No, the sweets then, the sort of chewy bar things.
And they
there
had
was a Wham flavour.
Crunchy bits of like kind of like popping candy stuff.
Yeah, there was a Wham flavoured lip balm as well. It's great, but if you taste it, don't taste the
Palmer Violets.
Yeah, I don't know about Palmer Violets. Was there a Palmer Violets one? Oh, there should have been, shouldn't there? If there wasn't, There should have been.
They
Anyway.
brought out a full range of like cordials of them old kind of style sweets.
I've seen them, yeah.
Sherbet dip, refresher bars, wham, stuff like that.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. What is not awesome stuff is our non-wrestling topic this week, which was suggested by Mr. Mags. He said, it's been a little while. Why don't we do a would you rather topic? And I sent back, are you fucking mental? These things never go well. And he was like, let's just do it. It'll be fine. So we asked for your would you rather scenarios for our non-wrestling topic. Now, obviously, if you are listening to the show or watching the show, well, if you're listening to the podcast version, it's too late. You missed the vote. But if you're watching the live show on YouTube or the SJP World Media X channel, feel free to jump in the chat and give us any more that you can think of as we're talking, and we will do our best to answer them as well. Magsy, normal rules apply, I suppose. We have to give an answer. We can't weasel out of it.
Yes. I mean, I will bend that rule, I think, quite a few times.
Okie dokie. Can we establish that then? And people in the chat, let us know what your response would be to these as well, if you see so fit. We will begin then, as I will try and read them out in the order they came into us. Will begin with.
Before you do that, I know we normally have you read them out how they come in, and it's never exactly how I get them on Twitter, but I do want you to leave Graham's till last.
Okay, so just to clarify, the one from Graham from Good Bad Sport account, I believe it's literally the first one you'll have under our little fluffy haired dude.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, motherfucker. Okay,
this second one here. Can you see this?
Yes, it's just.
Leave that.
I've got it just the other way round. Yes. I've got it just the other way round, Magsy. So we'll begin with our good friend Stevo at EliteFPL_Stevo. I was on Total Stevo podcast as well. Recorded a couple of weeks back. Came out today.
Awesome.
Look, really good chat with Steve and Ray. Looking at the Mr. McMahon documentary and the part about the Attitude Era and all that. Really good chat. Steve-O's fantastic, top bloke, and Ray's awesome as well. Big supporter of the show. They buy a lot of merch together. Not together. They don't share a t-shirt. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
They buy extra
Ray has
large
it on
sizes.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Oh, see, I didn't think of a timeshare. I thought they'd buy a big t-shirt and wear it at the same time.
Like a conjoined twin.
Yeah. It's interesting how our minds both went in different directions there, isn't it?
Yeah. But I went sensible and you went freak.
Excuse me. Indeed. Steve-O begins. Vince McMahon to come back to WWE and take back creative control, or Kevin Nash?
Oh, Kevin Nash was a wank booker, weren't
he? He was. But I would go with Nash in this scenario because we've seen McMahon recently. Nash was booking late 90s, early 2000s. 25 years has gone by. I'd rather see what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, and also Vince McMahon is an absolute dirty pervert. I'd go with Kevin Nash. I would go with Kevin Nash. I don't want Vince McMahon back in wrestling at all.
Do you reckon he'd book himself as world champion?
Kevin Nash or Vince? Because Vince did that as well. I don't think Kevin Nash would book himself as a wrestler anymore because he's basically his body's absolutely fucked. His knees are made of Weetabix.
Yeah, fair point. Steve continues. The In-Betweeners returns for a final series, or The Office, as it sickens me that I have to say this, the UK one. So one more series for the UK Office or the In-Betweeners. Can't have both.
So firstly, Steve-O, chain wrestling does not recognise the US Office. So when you say The Office, it is only the UK one that will be mentioned on this show. I think In-Betweeners, it was fine after the first movie. The second movie was not needed whatsoever. Another season of The Office, I think I'd go with.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I think the humour of the In-Betweeners you could redo now with a where are they now? They're all older, they got partners, they got kids, and so on. Whereas The Office, it was so bloody brilliant. I wouldn't want them to touch it in case they fucked it up. Whereas
Yeah,
the
but they
In-Betweeners,
could also do the Where Are They Now? I mean, I know they did the
no,
David Brent
yeah,
movie.
yeah, granted, but with the In-Betweeners, they've already done a couple of movies that didn't quite hit the mark. So they've got nothing to lose, really. I wouldn't want them to fuck something up that's kind of already spot on,
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
you know. And with regards to the US office, I love it. I reckon it's great. But the UK office is fantastic. That is the business. So
It is.
this one, I'm afraid I cannot answer, Mags, because I've not seen either
I
of
hate
these
you
shows.
with every fibre of my being because
Well, I keep trying to look for them, but they're not anywhere.
yeah, Peter Kay is he doesn't like his shows being on streaming services at all. He's very protective of his RP. So these were both Channel 4 shows, and they're not on the Channel 4 on demand streaming service at all.
I keep trying to find them, but they're never up anywhere, mate. I'll have to get the DVDs, I suppose, won't I? Which is a bit of a gamble, because what if I don't like it?
I mean, have you seen any Peter Kay stand-up? It's a lot of the same style of comedy as that.
Okay.
So I think you'd enjoy it. But this is like picking between your two kids.
I mean, for the benefit of the people on the audio version, we haven't actually said what we're picking between, to be fair.
Yeah. So the choices are Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights or Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere, and they are both absolutely brilliant shows. So funny. But I think because Max and Paddy only got one season, I would love a second season of that because it's just 6 episodes of absolute gold. Where Phoenix Nights got 2 seasons, we'd already got like the second season of that. So I'd go with Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere needed a second season.
I will just agree with you then, Max. For that, that's my answer. Okay. Steve-O continues. Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant to unite for a new series, or them and Carl Pilkington back together for a 6-episode podcast run. Podcast run for me. I love those shows.
The animator ones on YouTube are brilliant. The Ricky Gervais show. Carl Pilkington is an absolute national treasure. So yeah, get Carl involved instantly.
Fantastic, isn't it? I responded to Steve-O for this next one, calling him an evil bastard.
It is a horrible choice, but it's not the worst choice that we'll make today.
Either wrestling in your life or music in your life. Whichever you choose, the other vanishes forever. Fuck. Oh my goodness, I don't know.
But for me, I have got more personal links with wrestling because of how I got into wrestling and the link with my grand. So as horrific as it would be to have a laugh without music, I would have to pick wrestling.
Do we get entrance themes still?
Because that is a good shout.
Right.
And
I don't mean
you can massage the rules.
I don't think Steve-O stipulates here how it would work. I'm assuming we wouldn't be able to have CDs to play something at home, but if we were watching WrestleMania 17, I could still see Motorhead perform live. Would that be a clever little
even the chat is throwing their 2 pennies with him. Badly played video game says music is synonymous with wrestling, so there will be entrance themes still. So wrestling, that's even stronger that wrestling wins now.
Like, I genuinely don't know, mate. I've some of the best times of my life. I mean, going to gigs and festivals and meeting new people.
You said we have to pick,
but without wrestling, we wouldn't be doing this. So I wouldn't have met. We wouldn't even know Steve-O to ask that question. Exactly. So then I wouldn't have this headache. So maybe
the good thing is Steve-O Steve-O kind of floats between both genres because he's a massive wrestling fan, but also does a lot of content around music. So he'd win either
Music.
way.
I'd have to say no wrestling. I'd have to say wrestling. I couldn't. Oh dear.
What a horrible choice!
You absolute prick, Steve.
Yeah, and I mean, it can only get better from here. We've done the hard choice now.
You reckon?
I definitely don't predict that we'll have any horrifically disgusting choices to make from now on.
No. So far, to be fair, it is going well.
One person in.
Yes, indeed. At Good Bad Wrestle on Twitter, they say it's directed at me, but I think it is both of us, Magsy.
No.
Would we rather have a dolphin like Flipper or a dog like Lassie as the next Doctor Who?
So, sir, seeing as this question was directed specifically to you, who would you rather have as your next Doctor? Knowing full well that your racist rhetoric towards the current Doctor has come true, and they've got rid of him.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the episode that's going to get me cancelled, isn't it? Because I'm
you got what you wanted. You said you hated that Doctor.
Well, I hated him.
You said he's the shittest Doctor ever.
No, I didn't.
You said he made Sylvester McCoy look like he knew what he was doing.
Hey, we'll have no Sylvester McCoy hate on this show. Thank you very much.
Okay, then.
I love Sylvester McCoy.
Peter Davison.
Yeah, he was good as well. I'm just not a big fan of the modern Who, that's all. But new series in April, we'll see. I'm open-minded. And I think that there is logic to the answer to this question as well, by the way. Okay? Obviously, the dolphin is going to spend all its time in the fucking water, isn't it? Yeah. Right? Lassie dog would be out and about. You get more variety in what's going on. Whereas with the dolphin, I reckon because of the location, you'll get a hell of a lot more Sea Devils stories, and the Sea Devils are shit. So I think we can avoid them by having the dog. Yeah, logic.
And the dog had an amazing way of communicating with humans, so that'll be absolutely fine. Like, what's that last say? Woof woof woof. Jimmy fell down the well. Let's go and find him then. There we go.
Jimmy's being exterminated.
Yeah. What's that? The Starvermen are back. Woof woof woof.
At Pigs Bladders on Twitter, we got the comment by my wife.
One of the biggest lies size ever told. I mean, I floated past it, Sharon, because it just rolls off my back. But yeah, he's literally the most close-minded person ever. He hates change and black doctors.
No, but oh my god, don't say things that I don't. That's horrific.
Did you like Jodie Whittaker?
Yeah, she was right, yeah.
But did you like her as the Doctor?
Yeah, that's what we're talking. I've never really seen her in anything else, to be fair.
Oh, she's in Broadchurch. It's brilliant. What an amazing.
Yeah, I know. Everyone keeps telling me I should watch that. I've never seen it.
You've not watched it, yeah? No, we'll get it.
Yeah, okay. Pigs Butters says, "You have gained the power of telepathy. Would you rather read the mind of Dan Griffin or Fitch?"
Oh, I mean, you would either way. You would read the mind of someone who you would never want to look in the eye again, because some of their thoughts would be horrific. I think Dan's at least would be linked to things that we enjoy because he's a massive wrestling fan. Fitch, he masturbates over car cleaning products. That I'm not really down with. So at least you get a bit of reprieve when Dan was thinking about wrestling because it's something would be interesting. So I'd go with Dan.
Yeah, I agree. That makes a lot of sense. You split the difference between Fitch and Dan Griffin there in a similar way that I split the difference between a dog and a dolphin, and it works well.
Yeah, just bringing sense to a nonsensical situation.
Also, Pigspadder says, "You've inherited your grandfather's priceless collection of novelty-shaped butt plugs. Would you rather treasure them for sentimental reasons or cash in and disappoint Grandad? Sorry, Gramps, I'm getting ritually rainal beads. Off to the shop I go.
I mean, could there not be a third option and then just put them to good use?
What second-hand butt plugs?
Yeah, but second-hand vintage butt plugs.
Oh, that
Oh.
makes all the difference then. I fucking
Yeah.
apologise.
I could live with Grandad being disappointed as long as I've got rid of his horrific butt plugs, and I would be disappointed in him for having a collection of butt plugs. The filthy animal. So no, I would have no problem selling those butt plugs.
There we go. On the note of pig spatters, before we dive into the next one, by the way, I did say to him that I would mention the algorithm he's been working on Twitter. Have you seen this, Magsy?
I literally only go on Twitter for this show.
Okay.
So no.
Well, Pig Splatters is working on an algorithm, big mathematical formula calculation thingamy with lots of numbers and wiggly letters and so on.
I saw hints of this.
Yeah, where it apparently, if you put in to this thing he's building, a wrestling match, its location, I think he said its date as well, and the company that it was for, it will take Dave Meltzer's five-star rating system and convert it to be more realistic. So just because it's in the Tokyo Dome, it won't get 47 stars, and matches in WWE that potentially should have been marked higher will get what they deserve. And it's a one algorithm for the whole thing, which I think is very, very clever.
That's amazing, yeah.
So I said I'd chuck one out to him on the show if he is still with us. If not, Pig Splatters, let us know when you hear it on the podcast version and so on. The one that always pisses me off is that Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21, which was at the Staples Center in 2005.
Kurt Angle has got no 5-star matches.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Now that match
Angle has never got a 5-star match.
4.75 stars from Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer is a wanker.
And that's just purely done to be a prick, isn't it? Surely, just that point. And it's one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Absolutely. So I'd like to know what the algorithm brings that out at, please, Pig Splatters, our good friend. Yeah. Moving on. At Connor Knows Footy on Twitter, he asks, would you rather support your rival club or your club get relegated to the National League? Now, before we answer, I just want to jump on this very quickly. First of all, we don't need to be told who our rival clubs are in brackets.
No.
We're fully aware. And secondly,
here was me thinking it was Preston. But thankfully.
But what makes me laugh is if you're picking one as a United fan, you even got it wrong. Because it's Liverpool. Above Man City all day long. But there we go. Would you rather support Blackburn or your club get relegated to the National League? I don't think this question works. I think there's a very easy out from this.
Okay. I would rather eat my own shit than support Blackburn.
Well, if you support your rival club, then that's your club. So the club you currently support getting relegated won't mean a damn thing to you.
Yeah, in fact, it'd be because that would be your enemy club. Yeah. But saying that, I would generally rather eat my own shit than support Blackburn.
That's enough. And being a United fan, I could probably tell you in about 5-6 years what it's like to be in the National League anyway. So we'll see how that goes.
When they come into Gloucester for a game.
Can you imagine if United go down and then City go up, twice? If we get promoted twice, we're in the National League. And then United play City. Wouldn't that be glorious?
I mean, for you, yeah, because it'd be like you're seeing all your United heroes, like Garnacho.
I don't think they would still be there. I don't think that would be the case. I think they might have moved on by the time they dropped down that low.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. So. Quite easy, really. Dan Griffin. Oh dear, this is where it takes a turn. This is our last one, Magsy, I think. We've got a couple.
This one, for context, I submitted this to Morty and Fitch a few weeks ago.
So Mitch and 40, yeah.
Yeah, and it was this exact question, and I had a feeling when I pitched it that it would come back and bite me, because their Morty's comment was, "Oh dear Lord," like how horrific. And now I know what that felt like because it's been issued to us.
Now, before I read this, I think I have an out that could help us, Maxie.
Okay.
So we'll get to that in just a second. Dan Griffin says, if you were 2 inches inside your mum, and what time is it? It's gone 9 o'clock, isn't it? Yes, okay. If you were 2 inches inside your mum,
That's the water.
and your
when
dad
incest is allowed.
I don't know about allowed. I think in all circles it's still frowned upon, unless of course you're in Stroud. If you were 2 inches inside your mum and your dad was 2 inches inside you, would you rather move forward or backward to escape the situation? Now, before we have this horrific image in our minds, he doesn't actually stipulate inside us how. And when I first read this, I had a Q-tip and I was cleaning my ear. And I thought to myself, what if we all had itchy ears and we were just in a line helping each other out? Yeah. So my dad has got a Q-tip 2 inches inside my one ear. You know, so which way am I going to move, Magsy? Which way am I going to move? Which ear do I sacrifice? That's the way I'm looking at it.
I mean, if it was Q-tips or cotton buds, as we normal folks call them, you could just move backwards and they would both spring out, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you could also go with if you had your finger 2 inches in your mum's mouth and your dad had his finger in 2 inches in your mouth. Doesn't have to be anything sexual, does it?
Yeah.
So Dan has worded this very wrong. He's worded this wrong, and now we don't have to answer whether we would go deeper into mum or back it all up onto your dad or rock between the two quite vigorously.
What the fuck is wrong with you? I think we've done quite a few of these would you rathers and have become quite good at finding ways of just sneaking out of them.
Yeah. So I would not move at all. If I had my finger 2 inches in my mum's mouth and my dad had his finger 2 inches in mine, I wouldn't move. I'd just keep the equilibrium until they got bored.
I'm going to go with the ear one rather than having a finger in my mouth, if you don't mind.
But then, as said in the chat, if a Q-tip is 2 inches inside your ear, you have a ruptured eardrum. So technically, both your ears are full.
That's a good point. Didn't think of that. I'm deaf anyway. So
you're sacrificing your hearing, essentially.
Okay, I'll take the finger in my gob then.
I thought you were going to say, I'll take the dick in my bum then.
But there we go. That's all we have from Twitter, Magsy. I'm assuming that we have one or two chucked up in the chat, actually. But there's one left.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's one left that we've put aside, isn't there?
There is. Let's get to the last one. Do you want to read it out?
Well, no, I've closed my phone now. So...
Well, that's brilliant because I've got to get my...
It's all right, I'll find it. I've got it. It's fine. I've got it. It's from @GoodBadSport on Twitter. And they say, but for your weekly disc golf rounds, at Podfather Mags, are you throwing Discraft or Innova discs?
Okay.
So I'm assuming these are brands, makes of opposing equipment.
Yep, you assume correct. And before we get to that, you said, can you please explain so I can make an informed decision? And then Graham said, no, he doesn't want an informed decision. He wants an uninformed rant. Well, Graham, tough tits, because I did actually do some research. So as you'll see, and apologies for the people listening on the audio, but this is very much needs you to see things visually. I've done some research, and this here is a pie chart of the most popular disc golf producers, and as you'll see there, Innova is the biggest producer. They've got a 32% market share. Discraft coming second with 25.7, and then you've got other brands like Prodigy, MVP, Discmania, that filling up the rest. So from what I have read about Innova, they started as the go-to disc golf company. They were very revolutionary with their products, but they've kind of now have started resting on their laurels. So they're kind of like the Apple of the disc golf world, where they were innovative at the beginning, but now live off the name value rather than the quality, where a lot of people look at Discraft as one of the current innovators, and they are slowly gaining more of the professionals to use their products over Innova. Is that you putting your finger up as a chat?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. Could I just throw the pie chart?
I mean, you technically could, but what a silly question. Anyway, so where's my thing for another slide? Doesn't matter. We'll
Another slide, yes?
Yeah, I've got multiple.
Okay. Shall I go make a cup of tea, or are you
No,
okay with this? Shall I just leave it be?
It'll be okay. Just give me a second. There we go. Share this one. So then here is a Discraft disc golf. And this is relatively cheap. It's only around £11 to buy one. So great value for money. But they do become a bit more expensive. This one here.
Fucking quid?
50 quid, yeah. Discraft do a lot of group packs of discs. So in case you're having tournaments, everyone gets to use the same discs, things like that. So they cost like multiple hundreds of pounds. So then we go to Innova, and their cheapest discs on Amazon were around 12 to 20 pounds. And that's the Champions Disc Blizzard. Apparently, the Blizzard branding of Innova is very, very popular. And they also have expensive ones. This one can go up to £103. This is the Beast.
My God.
So depending on how much you want to spend on disc golf, it can be relatively cheap, or it can get relatively pricey. Because not only do you need the discs, and you need multiple discs, because you've got some discs that will go longer distance. You've got some discs which are made of different kinds of plastic to do curves and wobble in the air and things like that. It's kind of like actual golf, where you need different discs for different situations. But you do need something to aim the discs at, and that would be a disc basket. And a disc basket, this one here, is £464.
Holy shit.
Makes it very, very expensive to take up the hobby of disc golf.
But you could make one. I could knock one of those up.
Well, I have got an alternative.
Okay.
If you want to, and I don't know why you would, you could do this on the cheap. So going back to Amazon, you can get some of these relatively cheap flying discs for less than £3. We'll do pretty much the same thing. And then instead of a 500 quid basket, you just aim them into this. That's a metal bin. And then once you've mastered the skill of putting them in the bin, you put the lid on and you walk away, and you never think about disc golf ever again. So in that, saying that, I would pick none of them, Graham, because disc golf is fucking shit.
And what was the actual question again? I can't remember now.
Which of the shitty discs would I pick? I would pick the cheap £3 flying disc.
Yeah. The purple one that was part of that pack, that looked quite cool, so I'd have that.
And I'd throw it into the bin.
Yeah. There we go. I'd like a go at disc golf, though, still. I'd still like a go.
You're on your own.
Okay. Well, I imagine I could play Graham. Yeah.
He lives literally thousands of miles away.
I'm sure he'll nip over.
It'd be a good shot if you could get a frisbee all the way to India.
Yeah, but it could go in the little basket thing, and he could just take it out, put it on the floor, take a picture, and cheat, couldn't he? I've got no way of knowing. I'm the other side of the water.
I mean, you probably know when you threw it and it went into the sea.
Fair point. That's why I see it bobbing up and down. A seagull picks it up or some shit.
Floating along. Yeah. It comes back to you on the tard.
There we go. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in questions and scenarios for our non-wrestling topic. It is always hugely appreciated. We have plenty in the chat to dive into, Magsy, so I think we should just sort of scan through a little bit. There is one comment from Connor I definitely want to touch upon, because I don't want him feeling upset.
Okay.
So we'll get to that in a moment.
So we'll start with Graham. He says he tags, and bear in mind these go back quite a while. Says he tagged us in the Hale and Pace clip on Twitter. That clip is hilarious. Yeah, it was very controversial at the time as well. They got a lot of complaints about it. Sharon says the husband needs soft lips, even though he won't kiss me goodnight. You don't kiss a goodnight.
Oh my God, get over it, woman. Listen, right? She's poorly. She's like really coughy and spluttery and gross with all phlegm, manky, right? I got to go work and shit. Well, I don't want to get ill.
Forehead kiss on the cheek.
Still a bit,
You horrid bastard.
Pressure allergy. No, she knows I love her. There's nothing to worry about on that front.
So Graham says, without Googling, can you remember Hale and Pace's first names, Mags? I just saw it on the end of the clip and would have been 02. Does he have a 0? Anyway, it's Gareth Hale and Norman Pace, I think.
That does sound right. I wouldn't have guessed those, but hearing you say it, I think that's right, isn't it?
I'm sure they are, and I'm sure they met at university. Anyway, Matt says he needs Sherman. Matt, grow up. Nobody needs Sherman lemon lip balm.
Oh, you do. This is the business, mate. Look at that. And it is lush.
Sad. Matt is also competitive as ever, saying, "Oh, he knows the answer." You're such a child, Matt. Sharon says no Parma violets, but there were a few slush puppy, raspberry, cola, flumps, and I can't remember the rest. Flumps.
I was going to say mushroom flavored lip balm. No, marshmallow. I meant to say. Oh, Magsy's got a bit of personal business going on there. Yeah, marshmallow. I meant to say marshmallow then, but I know he said mushroom flavored lip balm. Could you imagine that? Not a good look, is it? Not a good look. Okie doke. Don't
you hate kids? Anyway,
everything all right?
Yeah, they're just coming in for a tablet. Not drugs, like a fire tablet. Graham then says, if you can't weasel out Dan Griffin's question, if you can't weasel out Daniel's question, would be interesting. Yeah, but we did weasel out, so ha ha ha. This is a horrible take. Badly played video game says Parma violets are foul. No, they're not. They're nice.
No, I like them. My sister adored them, man.
And he then says, I would rather eat pineapple on pizza.
I like pineapple on pizza.
I don't mind it. I mean, I know it gets a lot of stick, but yeah, I don't
it's
really mind
especially good if you have the sweetness of the pineapple with something really spicy as well. Good times.
Like chili. Yep.
Yeah.
Sharon says, good cop, bad cop. I'm not going to say the names, but I'm 99% sure I remember them. Graham says, did I do some research? I did do some research. Oh no, he's written a rant. I didn't write it. I just said it off the top of my head. From there I did the rant. Oh yeah, as I requested. Badly played video games. I remember the names, but I won't spoil for Mags. Yeah, well, it was Gareth and Norman. I mean,
it's boring names, isn't it? As well, Gareth and Norman.
I mean, I think they were both born in like the 60s, so.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
They're popular names. And then Hale and Pace.
Yeah, completely random. The doctor just happened to go into a shop, and they worked in the shop, and then he left the shop, and that was it. It's like they didn't even give him like a proper part. It's like
just like bit parts.
Yeah, like completely random. They were just in this shop, like literally a little corner shop, and they were in it for like 2 minutes. It was just completely random and out of the blue. Yeah.
Connor says the UK office is all right. Our version of the office brackets US is not funny. I mean, there is no US version. It's It's a bastardized abomination.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Arsehole. Matt says, would you rather watch England win the World Cup again by being forced to do commentary alongside me and Dan on the volley, or listen to me go on and on about Formula One's history, particularly 1997 to present? I mean, it's the football one.
Obviously.
I mean, being forced to do commentary, that's not a punishment. That'd be hilarious to watch along to. So
yeah, I'd obviously choose the football.
That's
not
a bad choice at all.
And also, I'd find it relatively easy because we're both supporting the same team. I couldn't come on the volley for a Liverpool game. My God, that'd be horrific.
I know, Jesus Christ. Connor says the UK offers it on Hulu and Disney Plus here in the States, and it's on BBC iPlayer here in the UK.
Yeah.
Badly Played Video Game says music is synonymous with wrestling, so there will be entrance streams. So yeah, so we had an out for that question by Steve O.
We're good.
Sharon says cat in the microwave or cat in a blender.
My word, Sharon, what is wrong with you?
She's gone dark today.
Yeah, that fever's really hit her.
Microwave.
I suppose. Yeah, the microwave, you get the pop, don't you?
Well, and the sizzle, and you get to see because it lights up in the microwave, and you get to see the cat struggling with its last seconds on Earth.
See, now you've gone too far, and I feel a bit sad.
What would you rather do? See its guts all blended up with one solitary eyeball spinning around at the top, looking at you?
Why would one eyeball spin around the top? Is your blender not very good?
It's just because they float.
Oh.
Sharon is getting a lot of backlash from that. Jesus tap dancing Christ.
Dancing Christ.
Badly Played Video Game says Jodie Whittaker was in St. Trinian's too as the one supplying drugs to Stephen Fry.
Oh, she. So what? In the uniform, was she?
No, she before filming just so Stephen Fry could actually act.
Right, okay, just dish out lines of coke.
And this is brilliant. Graham says, just had a phone scammer call. He accepted the call and let them listen to our podcast without me speaking. Asked about which mind you would like to read, Dan's or Fitch's. They lasted 31 seconds before hanging up.
Oh, and wonderful.
That's something for the bio right there. This podcast will make scammers hang up.
That's glorious. We provide a service.
Pig's Bladder says he's still here, and he says, according to the Meltzer equation, that match would be revised to a 5-star, as it should have been.
Indeed.
And Connor is crying because you took his question literally and kind of like ripped him to shreds. He tried to make it fun. Well, you failed, Connor. You failed miserably.
The question would have been something along the lines of, would you rather see your biggest rival win the European Cup?
Your
team gets relegated. Yeah, that would be the one to look at. But the ship sailed now. Don't ask us now. Ship sailed. It's gone.
Yeah, we are not going to have this topic for a long time again until we have nothing else to talk about.
You got to wait for it. You got to wait.
Graham says, how does Dan know your dicks are longer than 2 inches? Because look at us. We clearly have big dick energy. So he made an accurate assumption.
We give off that vibe, I feel.
We do. Badly Played Video Game said the maths teacher will appreciate the disc-shaped pie chart. And then Graham says, I mainly throw in about, because you're a sheep. You are an actual sheep. Because they're the big known brand that all the big stars use. Like, I've got an Apple phone. Why? Because everyone's got an Apple phone. Meh.
These big stars.
Meh. Well, stars in the very loosest sense of the word in disc golf.
Okay. It's on the telly though, isn't it? Or at least like on YouTube and stuff.
Because they're both the same. We're on YouTube. You would not let us anywhere near actual TV.
No, well, I don't know. Maybe Channel 5. We get on there. We probably get on Channel 5, mate. They show any shit, don't they? No, but it's covered on the telly, isn't it? Because they're talking about getting it in the Olympics. So it must have like TV coverage somewhere.
Not in. Well, they may have. I'm sure Graham has got a channel fully dedicated to that ESPN 24. Just disc golf all day, every day. Which would just be horrific, wouldn't it? Graham then says the pie chart is amazing. And he was thinking now last week, no one was sick last week, and it was just me buying time to make a presentation. I actually had all that down last week to do, but I didn't take the photos from Amazon. I was just going to freestyle it. But when Sa shit the bed, quite literally and figuratively, I thought I'm going to go in deep on this, and I did a little bit of research on the two companies and got the images, and yeah, so I'm glad he was ill now, to be fair.
Thanks,
Badly played video game says resting on their laurels like they're Nike or Adidas or something. I mean, in the disc world, they are probably at the levels of Nike or Adidas, I think. I mean, to be fair, they are just molded bits of plastic. So I don't know. Are they good? I will never ever find out because I don't care.
You have like special gloves to wear. You know when you watch people play pool on telly,
Yeah,
and then when they break, they have a special glove to wear when they break, don't they?
which keeps the fingers in a certain position, don't they?
Yeah. Do you have like a certain glove to wear for disc
Yeah.
golf?
It's probably like a white rhinestone glove, and you do a hee hee, and then throw your disc.
Brilliant.
Graham says $11, but also 1 star. Well, actually, it was £11, Graham. 1 star is probably
One
the best
star.
rated disc golf rating that you can get, though.
Let's put it in Pig Spatter's quota thing and see what it can
And
say.
he might get a 2-star. He'll get a 2-star disc. Badly played video game says this is the PowerPoint Shane showed Tony Khan. I would not be surprised if Tony Khan brings out a rival disc golf company because he's just a petty little prick. Graham says he paid £4.80 for his discs, for his Innova disc,
Argent.
and he's got a couple of beasts in his bag. Well, maybe he should let the kids out every now and again then. He also then says you don't need to buy your own basket to play disc golf. You go to the course. Well, or throw them in the bin.
Again, in the UK, I've never heard of there being a course. So, once you run through the chat, I'm going to look it up.
I know that there's a few foot golf courses.
Yeah. Okay.
Where you basically kick a football around a golf course and
that looks good. Laugh that.
Yeah, but disc golf, no, I don't know. Pigs Bladder says yes, that's right, Mags. I mean, yeah, that algorithm thing is absolutely brilliant. So
yeah, it's spot on. Really good work.
Matt says, to be fair, mushroom can also work as a dessert if done right. I don't know. Someone said to me mushrooms for pudding. I mean, I like mushrooms, but not with custard.
We did just chuck a bit of sugar on it or something. Nah, that ain't for me.
Graham says, I find myself agreeing with more and more with Sa every episode. Yeah, it's bad when Sa becomes the voice of reason. Graham says, Hale and Pace ran for 10 series. Yeah, they were on TV.
Yeah, real long time.
Ages. They started off like basically it's like Saturday night, like main kind of like TV show, but then as they got more and more risky, they ended up being like later and later on, like, and I think they ended up on Sunday nights at like stupid o'clock at one point. Badly played video games tells Graham to go play with his frisbees, and Graham says there is a disc golf network. I fucking knew it. Americans will make a TV show about fucking anything, wouldn't they?
So do you pay for the network? Have you got? I was going to say prescription. That's not right, is it? That's tablets and medicine and shit.
I mean, I think you need that as well.
Have you got a subscription for the network? Because if you have, send us your logins. We'll all have a watch.
No, we won't. One of us might. The other one definitely will not. Badly played video games. The Godfather, WWE Hall of Famer, was number 2 in Las Vegas as a disc golfer. I mean, he was pimping whores in one time. Look how the mighty have fallen. Graham says, I'm glad Sa was ill. Mags, yes. Graham says, my son wears a glove, but no, you don't use a glove.
Okay.
And that makes Mason sound like Michael Jackson. I mean, if the glove fits.
Yeah.
Matt says it was on Great British Menu last week. What, disc golf was? Or mushrooms? Oh, he corrects.
I imagine mushrooms.
Can you imagine if disc golf was on Great British Menu?
Somebody just making something, and a frisbee just flies in and smashes the food off the fucking counter.
Graham says Quarry Park near Leamington Spa is your nearest.
I'm just looking. Yeah.
And the last one for
There's
now.
one about
Badly
25
played
minutes
video
away.
games. I think prescription is accurate. Are you going to have a go at disc golf? Are you going to go on a round on the links?
I might have to see the missus fancies it and we'll go play disc golf one day.
This will be the last episode of this show we do. If you come on next week,
do you know the most annoying thing?
Go, I had a go at disc golf last week. I'll just end the stream right there.
Do you know the most annoying thing about it though? Is if we take Liv, it doesn't matter that it's never been done before. Liv within a day will be fucking amazing.
She'll be top 10 in the world, just embarrassing you both.
It's just like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what sport she tries: football, rugby, darts, netball. Give her an hour to practice. She's fucking incredible. So,
Graham says it's about $10 a month, but he doesn't subscribe. So you're a part-time disc golfer. You're not even fully committed that you will subscribe to it. Shocking. He says, but YouTube coverage highlights is enough that I can watch it times 2. Yeah, but when the videos have 4 views and you were 3 of them views,
nothing wrong with that, mate. That's what we get.
That is true.
Brilliant stuff. Again, thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for joining us live here on a Tuesday night, which will probably stay the same for a little bit, I think, Magsy, won't it? We'll see how we get on.
Well, depends on whether you get sacked in the next few weeks or not.
Yeah, fair point. But yeah, so there we go. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for being in the chat and interacting with us and so on. We'd better, Magsy, get on to talking a little bit of wrestling. And also, I want to say to people in the chat, before anyone decides to disappear or anything like that, I have got potentially one of the best links out of this match ever. So hang about for that.
I don't believe you.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So then. Magsy, I won the poll.
You did.
Because nobody wants to watch fucking Viscera. That's why.
Shocked. I was shocked to my core. I thought we could have at least carried on this trilogy of watching King of the Ring tournaments, but get progressively worse. And we missed out.
Viscera is involved in my link out, actually. So there's
and it's the best one ever then. And Viscera's involved.
You wait to see. I think it's great. When I think something's great, nobody else agrees and it ends up with like 2% of the vote. So I wouldn't worry too much. But yes, we head to the King of the Ring pay-per-view from 2002 and the opening match from the show, a semi-final contest between Rob Van Dam and Chris Jericho. I chose this because I just looked at hidden gems from King of the Ring tournaments, and this is one of the ones that popped up, and I thought, well, that sounds good. Let's have a look. And I know Jericho is one of your favourites of all time as well, Magsy. I know we both enjoy RVD's work, so I thought this could be quite good. And I don't think we were let down, really.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay. We begin with, I suppose, what you might call the indie match start, don't we? Where they trade moves back and forth, both for a drop kick and then stand each other and wait for the applause. Now, when that started to happen a bit on like mainstream matches a little bit more often, I thought it was cool as fuck. I loved seeing stuff like that happen. Now, I'm so over it. I'm so over seeing that.
But 23 years ago, it was cool. I mean, this is the same RED who not long before this was doing the move trading with Jerry Lynn, and it was absolutely artistic. The matches between RED and Jerry on ECW pay-per-views were a thing of beauty, and he just carried that on into WWE.
Yeah, indeed. I do like the way that we come out of that, though. They're both standing there staring at each other. Jericho just gives RVD a slap in the face. RVD responds by effectively giving Jericho a slap back, but with his foot. It's fantastic, isn't it? I love it.
He's such a nimble wrestler. And this was new for a lot of WWF fans. The things that Rob Van Dam could do. You can't quantify just how loved he was because of what he brought to WWE with his wrestling style. It was just amazing to watch.
There's a select handful of wrestlers. We spoke about it on the show before, I'm fairly certain. But there's a select handful of wrestlers that I look at, and at the time when they came through, they were doing things I had never seen before. AJ Styles was one of those. Shawn Michaels, when I was a kid, felt like this. Bear in mind, I didn't have much of a reference when I was a kid, but Shawn Michaels was doing stuff that was different to Hogan and different to the Warrior and all that sort of stuff. So it felt that way with him. And Rob Van Dam was very much that way. He was doing stuff that I had never seen. I mean, we see later on the split-legged moonsault in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day,
the rolling
it blows
thunder.
my mind.
Things like doing the roll and then jumping up onto the top rope. Just he was like a cat. Just the things that he could do.
And again, he's not a small guy. We see lots of flipping about and many aerial wrestlers now, and the cruiserweight divisions in companies and so on. And of course, AEW is full of smaller guys anyway that wrestle that certain style. You got, I mean, he's what, 6'1"?
Yeah,
250, something like that. 240.
He had muscles where people wouldn't normally have muscles, and his ring gear left nothing to the imagination. You could see the guy was made out of granite.
Nothing to the
very
imagination.
Flexible granite. I mean, he's got some ass as well. There's no denying that he's got a very round ass.
He has indeed. He has indeed. What are we doing? He goes for the frog splash very early, though, doesn't he? Rob Van Dam obviously doesn't hit it because that would effectively be the end of the match. Because Jericho kicks the referee into the ropes to send. Again, very simple, but I really enjoy that as well.
Jericho was good at those little things like that, those little touches. One thing he's really good at is kind of like wrestling on the fly. I mean, obviously, a lot of wrestling is it's scripted, but Jericho was really good at changing it up as the situation called for, and the way he used that, just the shove of the referee whilst he was on the floor. I mean, the little nudge kick to basically stop RVD from pulling off the frog splash. Yeah, brilliant work, brilliant shithouse heel work.
He also, again, talking about shithouse heel work, starts trying to take the covers off the turnbuckle. And again, it's such a simple thing to do because you get so many options from that. You have the buckle to use, or it provides a distraction whilst the referee tries to reapply it. So much you can do, and just by simply undoing that lace at the back, it's proper old school heel stuff, isn't it, Magsy?
Yeah, and that perfectly goes into play when a few minutes later, RVD pulls off a small package, and that essentially the match is over. But the referee was busy refixing that turnbuckle, and Jericho's able to get out of it.
Yeah, indeed. There's lots of kicks as well, and a rolling thunder by RVD. Lots and lots of kicks coming in, but that was always his way as well, wasn't it? But Jericho hits a German suplex, which in this era, I really think of Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, and then I suppose in a year or two after, Brock Lesnar kind of makes that move, very synonymous with what he does. But I don't think of Jericho at all when it comes to throwing that move, but here we are.
Yeah, which shows his wrestling ingenuity. I mean, he was getting absolutely pummeled, and he was able to pull out a desperation move to switch the momentum.
Yeah. I'm hoping my microphone's not picking that up, but my stomach is rumbling like crazy.
I thought you'd shit again.
So if it is picking it up, if you're wondering what that is, it's my gut. I'm hungry. I apologise. Jim Ross as well here, I think, really adds to the show. Jim Ross here is he's in full flow, and he's got all these brilliant moves coming from both guys to call, and it's almost like he is really enjoying the match himself. He's not just going through the motions, is he? This is good, Jim Ross, I think.
And imagine if we had Vince McMahon, how many times he would have said, "What a maneuver."
Oh yeah, tell me about it. The Wars of Jericho get busted out when Rob Van Dam attempts a Hurricane Rana, which gets countered, which I liked as well. Again, quite inventive little moment, isn't it?
Yeah, but he is a little bit too close to the ropes, and RVD is able to get out of the move, and then Jericho starts pushing the ref around, basically just to distract and get ready for the next spot.
Yeah. But then we effectively come to pretty much the end, don't we? It's all
because
very abruptly.
Even though this was the opening match and is part of the essence of the pay-per-view, the King of the Ring tournament, they're not given a lot of time. I think the match is maybe 15 minutes at a push, but it's been 15 minutes of really good technical wrestling.
Indeed. We end up with both wrestlers battling for position on the top rope. Jericho falls, which then just leads to Van Dam hitting the 5-star frog splash for the 3 count. And that's over. Just like Magsy, very quick little bit of wrestling for us to look at this week. But I think they do really well with the short amount of minutes that they have. And obviously Van Dam then has to wrestle again later that night, which is another reason why it might be a bit shorter and so on, of course. But yeah, so what are your final thoughts? And out of 10 then, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they don't get given a lot of time, 15 or so minutes, but they do maximize the minutes. Some great shithousery heel work from Jericho. RVD is as popular as ever, and he could literally just run his greatest hits of moves, and it elevates any matches in to a whole other level. It's not up there with classics. Don't get me wrong, but it is a very, very enjoyable match. So I'm going to give this a 7.5, I think.
Holy shit. There you go. I got the same. 7.5. Look.
Wow, that's the first time we've been in sync for it.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is. Oh, there we go. 7.5. Good work, gentlemen, in the few minutes you had on that show. Good stuff. This next poll, then, is quite a biggie, I feel, because you look at the updated spreadsheet, Maxie. I am one behind you overall. No.
Ooh.
You're on 77. I am on 76.
Wow.
So it's amazing how all these shows it is that, and obviously we've got a handful of draws in there as well. I think it's like 7 or 8 draws, which is ridiculous, you bastards. But yeah, so I'm intrigued to see where you go next, my friend. What would you like to do next week if your selection wins?
So I'm going a little bit out of the box and bringing chain wrestling right the way up to date.
Okay.
So the link is Chris Jericho, and there was a time where you could argue he was among the best wrestlers in the world. He was certainly in the conversation of being one of the best wrestlers in the world. Nowadays, maybe not so much. Nowadays, maybe he should have hung up the boots a few times. There's been lots of calls for him to retire, and there's also a lot of talk about him hogging the limelight in AEW and Ring of Honor, and where wrestlers who get involved in storylines with him aren't being elevated, kind of him basically protecting his spot. But recently he was in a match that got a lot of negative press because of it showed just how far down the wrestling ladder Jericho has fallen. He recently was on an episode of Collision from January the 11th this year, and he was in a match against Dax Harwood. And this match is infamous because of the very, very botched ending. So I want to cover Chris Jericho versus Dax Howard from Collision, January the 11th, 2025. And if you want to watch it longer, and I'm sure Sam will be using the link, it is actually on YouTube as well, the full match to watch. And I'll make sure that the link is passed along.
I've not seen that. I don't
You
even
will-
know about the botched finish you're talking about.
I'm surprised because this was big news. I think afterwards, Jericho went on a podcast and he was asked about people using the word botch, and he goes on to say that he hates the word botch, and if a wrestling fan says it to me, punch him in the mouth and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's warning. It's a horrific match, but chain wrestling is
We
not
have
always
fun,
about
don't
the
we?
good matches. Yeah.
Oh no, we do have fun with the rubbish. I think it's quite, and these people know that, and that's why quite often they vote for us to watch shit.
Yeah.
So-
Mainly to torture us, but also because shit matches
yeah,
provide a lot of comedy.
indeed they do. Bear with me just 1 second. I do.
Oh, there we are. Monday's sack off.
Oh, the Monday cough. There we go. Even though it's Tuesday. Speaking of shit and stuff I have not seen, Magsy, to try and draw level with you on our voting and our polls and so on, I'm going to take a leaf from your book. I'm gonna do a Magsy special, and I'm gonna bend the rules a touch, so that you're very good at and have done very well with in the past. I am gonna use Rob Van Dam as the link, and link to something that actually occurred or was first seen 15 years ago.
Okay.
This very week. I would like to go and check out Rob Van Dam doing a bit of acting.
Jesus wept.
Oh yeah. But it's not just Rob Van Dam. It's not just Rob Van Dam. The film I would like to look at, it's about an hour and 20 minutes long, so even though it's a movie, it's not very long at all. The film I would like to look at, it stars Rob Van Dam, but also Dave Bautista and
that's
Ja
getting better.
Rule.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule is in it.
Brilliant.
And let me just have a look. I've forgotten the ladies. Stormy Daniels is in it as well.
The porn star who
the porn star
had it with Donald Trump.
That's the one. And Nelson Fraser Jr., who, of course, was Viscera.
Oh, the biggest
Yeah, that
love
is
machine
Viscera.
in the world.
And obviously other people as well, but their names don't stand out to me quite as much as the porn star, obviously. No expense was spared making this movie entitled Wrong Side of Town. They really pushed the boat out and spent a whopping $800,000 on it. And I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the reviews from IMDb about this particular movie and the headlines that it gives. It's an action movie about rescuing. One of them has their daughter kidnapped and they have to rescue their daughter. So it's a deadly serious action movie. First of all, 1 out of 10, a great comedy.
1 out of 10, a great comedy.
Yeah. I'm extremely embarrassed to say I actually took the time to watch this movie. Second review, 1 out of 10. Cheap action film that handles a revenge saga in the worst way. Cheesiest action film ever made. So that's a good start there. A third review, 1 out of 10. And the headline reads, absolute rubbish that makes Suburban Commando look good. The next the next review, 1 out of 10. Amusingly terrible. I don't think I need to go on, do I? 1 out of 10. The greatest comedy I've seen in years. 2 out of 10. Worst action flick I've ever seen.
The worst one I've ever seen, and it's still got a 2.
Yes, indeed. So that is what I would like to do next week. I would like to go look at the 2010 movie Wrong Side of Town, starring Dave Bautista, Viscera, Rob Van Dam, and the Trump bouncing Stormy Daniels. It is available on YouTube, so we don't have to pay for it or anything like that. So it's access.
Nobody did.
No. That is the rules, isn't it? It's going to be available for everyone. It is available on YouTube, but if you want to be posh, you can get it on Amazon as well. I expect, whatever, etc., etc. But yeah, that is my choice because I think that could be fucking hysterical.
Amazing. There's no winners next week, is there? We're
There's
all
not.
just losers.
We are all losers. Those are your choices for next week. We have Chris Jericho being a sulky little bitch after he makes a few mistakes in a match against Dax Harwood from the 11th of January Collision episode from this very year. Potentially the most recent link we've ever had, Magsy. Very, very potentially. Or we go back 15 years ago this very week to see a film that went straight to DVD in the US entitled Wrong Side of Town that stars no 50-50 Pigs fans. Don't even suggest that. That stars Dave Bautista, Rob Van Dam, Viscera, and Stormy Daniels. My word, what a shower of shite.
Yes, definitely. I mean, again, no winners next week. We're going to have to get through some shit, whichever one we pick.
It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. But there we go. Mags, I don't think we've got anything we need to jump into quickly on the chat, really. Well, a little bit there about the disc golf potential. We've got Graham willing to pay for my petrol money for me to go to Leamington Spa and give it a go.
That's when they just go.
I think there is actually one closer than the one in Leamington Spa that I looked at, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Shall we take a little look at some wrestling road stories that you may have for us?
Let's do it. Spelled correctly.
Yes, indeed. Little alterations to that video, because as mentioned in the intro to this show, on that little intro clip there made for this segment, I spelled Magsy's fucking name wrong. 168 shows back.
Yeah, exactly. And you still got it wrong. But
it's 4 letters. It's 4 fucking letters. Sorry, go on. What have you got for us?
This one, kind of like last week, is a classic that pretty much everyone should know. 1 second.
Agents costly. It's affecting us both. Is that gin?
No, it's just water.
It's a gin glass, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's a glass.
I think those are gin glasses, aren't they? Those round ones, like that. Maybe that's why you're coughing so much, because you're drinking neat gin.
No, is it not called a schooner? Is that not called a schooner?
I don't know. I thought it was a gin glass. Anyway.
Just water.
Anyway.
So yeah, classic one, and ironically, Blackburn gets a mention for the second time in this podcast.
Oh, which interesting.
Kind of hints to the story that we're talking about. This is the classic Sid Vicious versus Arn Anderson.
Oh, so, amazing.
After a show in Blackburn, a few of WCW wrestlers were in a hotel bar, ordering food, getting drunk, etc., etc. Arn was complaining about WCW struggling to draw, and he was sat comparing everything that WCW did with the WWF. A couple of the wrestlers were getting a little bit angry at Arn, and he's whining. And Sid chirps up, saying that Arn was part of the problem, and that old men like him and Flair needed to get out of their way and essentially give up their spot for the up-and-comers. Beer bottles started to get thrown about. Threats were made. Broken glass bottles were threatened as weapons. And everybody decided enough was enough, time to go to their rooms. But just as he was going to his room, Sid was threatened with a broken beer bottle. And Sid said he went back to his room, ate part of a sandwich, but he was stewing at the disrespect that he'd gone through at being threatened. So he smashed a chair in his own room, broke the leg off the chair and went off to find Arn Anderson and essentially club him about the skull with the chair leg. Sid banged on Arn's door, goading him to come out and fight. And then hearing what he assumed was Arn falling over drunk, he threw the chair leg and just started to go back to his room. This is when Arn Anderson came out of his room with a pair of scissors in his hand, and he went to stab Sid. Sid was stabbed in the stomach, but he did wrestle the pair of scissors away from Arn and proceeded to stab Arn, as well as laying in the boots. Two Cold Scorpio came out of his room and he pulled the guys apart. And then a 420-pound Vader, who was in his underpants, just his wire fronts, came out of his room and had to plug Stibbs' gaping stab wound, which was spewing blood everywhere, with his thumb in an attempt to stop the bleeding.
Wow.
Two Cold Scorpio started going absolutely frantic because the fight was happening right outside Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat's room. And in Two Cold's words, he says, I mean, these guys are supposed to be their buddies, but not one of these chicken shit motherfuckers got out of their goddamn room. I'm up on the second goddamn floor and I've got to come down and break this shit up. What a load of bullshit.
So sorry, Ricky, was Steamboat rooming with Flair? That's weird.
Yeah, well, according to Two Cold Scorpio, I mean, wrestlers aren't known for sticking to the truth.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Anyway, Arn had suffered 20 to 30 stab wounds to the chest and stomach, while Sid was stabbed 4 times. They both ended up spending the night in the local hospital and were deported back to America the next day. There was no police charges ever filed. WCW President Eric Bischoff then fired Sid after several wrestlers threatened to walk out of the company if he wasn't terminated. Whereas Arn Anderson, who started the fight and brought the pair of scissors into the fight, got off with a suspension. But all's well that ends well. The two eventually made reparations and were very good friends until obviously Sid's untimely passing. But yeah, a classic for the Wrestling Road stories when Sid Vicious stabbed up Arn Anderson.
Why? It's insane, isn't it? Just live in a different world. That'd be attempted murder if you and me did that.
I mean, that's 11 miles away from me. Literally
Yeah.
11 miles away when two genuine Hall of Fame wrestlers were farting in a hotel and one stabbed the other 20 to 30 times with a pair of scissors.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, I love it. I love the road stories, Magsy. It's fucking, it's great. I'm so glad you came out with this idea. It's awesome
So
stuff.
many of them as well. There's
brilliant
so
stuff.
many road stories.
I love it. Absolutely love it. But there we go. Are we going to jump into the chat quickly and see what they're on about with the disc golf?
Graham there says he would gladly pay for your petrol money to go to Leamington Spa just so we could get a report on how it went on CW. I mean, if you want this show to end, happily do that report because it will end. Matt says, unfortunately, he needs to top out and we'll catch the rest on VOD Squad. That's a thing. Not all. Graham also then is ditching. All right, guys, got to disappear. I have to make my first dinner for the family. See, jokes.
First dinner. Oh, amazing. Good work.
They're heading on from work, practice, or school. King Pig Banner says the Jericho and Dax Howard is sloppy as fuck. I think sloppy is being canned to it, but hopefully we'll get to watch it if it is picked, and then he gets the dreaded 50-50 before threatening to stab us with a pair of scissors.
There we go. Lovely stuff. And again, thank you everyone for joining us. It really does mean again, illness. I know we've been a bit stop-start and so on, and we've changed nights, and then we started again, and then illness in the house and the family and all that sort of stuff. So we cancelled it. Had to cancel again and all that sort of stuff. It never ceases to amaze me that you guys always come back. You're always here, and the numbers are always good.
The support is superb.
Yeah, and it's never taken for granted. It's hugely appreciated. So thank you so much.
We love you all.
Before we do depart, I want to give a quick shout out to Chuck Winchester, who used to do a show called Regularly Scheduled Hostilities quite a way back, Magsy, if you remember, with his couple of buddies there. He's rejoined the network, as I mentioned on a previous week, doing his own show now, solo podcasting, which I always say is incredibly difficult to do. Well worth a listen, the Chuck Winchester Wrestling Podcast. Absolutely fantastic. It's out middle-ish of the week, depending on when Chuck can get it recorded and get it over to me. I drop it Wednesday, Thursday sort of time, looking at modern-day WWE, and he's had a fantastic look at the build-up to WrestleMania, what's happened with the Royal Rumble, and so on. So yeah, make sure you're giving that a listen as well. And Chuck is also looking for guests. So if you want to talk modern-day WWE or even wrestling in general and revisit an old pay-per-view, reach out to him, or
there
you
can
reach out to well, there you go, Matt. Yeah, exactly. He'd love to have you on. You can reach out to the network itself at SJP World Media, and we'll put you in touch with Chuck to jump on and discuss wrestling as much as you like with our good buddy from over the water there. And as always, you can get hold of me for any shows that I do, Doctor Who Pod, Waiting Room, etc. They're all back up and running. The Waiting Room's every Wednesday now. Wrestling News Time Machine with Morty on a Friday. Bloody love doing that show. It's just talking bollocks with our mate, and it's a good laugh, really. Just a good bit of fun, even though we run through the TV and the top 10 for certain dates, and I don't remember fucking any of it. But yeah, Wrestling News Time Machine on a Friday. And of course, the podcast version of this very show comes out later in the week as well. So make sure you're subscribing, liking, and all that good stuff at SJP World Media. And for the polls and non-wrestling topics for this particular show, you need to be looking at @chain_wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and all that good stuff as well. Magsy, what about you, my friend? Where can people find you?
They can find me down here. This is my TikTok account, Pod Farmer Mags, where you'll find videos of chickens and also my recent journey with Monjaro. I also have a Twitter. I don't use it. Well, I'll use it specifically for this show. So don't bother following that. I mean, you can if you want. That's
You've been giving that out, actually.
Mags. You've been giving my Twitter out.
Yeah, when I was on Total Stevo podcast, Bang Bang podcast, and Wrestling News Time Machine, whenever I said anything a little bit controversial, I said they can direct their hate tweets to @PodFatherMax.
You'll definitely get a reply. You'll absolutely. I reply to every message on there.
Fantastic.
So yeah, if you want to if you need to vent some hate about this show, about anything on the network, send it to me because I will definitely read it for you. But other than that,
yeah, sorry's a prick.
Other than that, you'd have to wait outside my house to catch a view of me, and don't do that because I'll just fart on your phone and I'll end up paying you 30 quid for the trouble.
There we go. Again, thank you so much to everybody. Keep an eye on the socials for the poll dropping. It'll be out very, very soon after the podcast version. And this should come out Wednesday. So the polls will probably be out Thursday. Try to close the polls early and to give us a bit more time to get the match looked and done and so on before we go live the following Tuesday night. So that's @Chain Wrestling, @Chain_Wrestling, sorry. Thank you again so much for everyone for tuning in and everyone who listens on the podcast version. Thank you again, Magsy. I've had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm off now to get something to eat because my belly is rumbling so fucking loud. Honestly, I'm surprised you can't hear it, mate.
Barry Windham once sent a fart video and followed through onto his phone.